Peace and the blessings. Welcome to the Lunar Nora YouTube channel. I don't know why it's taking me so long to create another video. I overthink a lot, if I'm being truthful with myself. And I am distracted easily. So when I'm distracted, I'll go find something else to do or handle something else, and then I completely forget that I was supposed to do a YouTube video. Like most of us, we're always distracted, which is something I want to talk about today. We live in a crazy world, during crazy times. There's a lot of things that are happening in our world right now. There's an election going on. We're on the brink of anarchy, whether we know it or not, or whether or not we want to acknowledge it. The weather is destroying us. It is so hot. For it to be August, it's almost 90 degrees outside in Illinois. And I'm sure it's burning up where you are too. A lot is happening. And when a lot of things are happening in the world, a lot of times us as human beings, at least I can speak for myself, we like to think, man, there's so many things that I could be paying attention to and being afraid of and just like giving all of my attention to because, it's there and it's happening and I should be aware of it and I should, be considering it and think about it. But the one thing a lot of us do not do, or I can speak for myself, we don't pay attention to ourselves. And we can't identify the storms, the arguments, the battles that take place within our own minds that are constantly bothering us and are really the reasons why we are where we are in our lives personally, whether that's somewhere you want to be or where you don't want to be, and why you have these relationships that you have, whether they are the relationships that you want or they are not the relationships that you want. Everything in our lives is a direct reflection of our inner life, our inner world, our mind, our body, our spirit. What energy, spirit that we are exuding out into the world will eventually attract back to us. And that's the one thing a lot of us aren't paying attention to. We're not looking at it, we're not focusing on, because there's so many other things to look at. I mean, hey, we're in a material world where there's things everywhere. We have social media now. Everybody has these phones. Mine's charging, so I can't bring it up. But we all have these phones that are consuming our lives. And you want to know how I know? Look at your time, your downtime. Not what it's called. Your screen time. Look at that report. How many hours a day are you spending on your phone? Most of us we spend more time on our phones than we do in front of a TV, which is just a new form of programming. The phone is now the TV. And actually, I'd say the phone is worse than a TV. I grew up watching TV. I grew up watching cartoons. And they have the little subliminal messages, which was, funny, ha, kiki. I'm understanding them now. But it wasn't as bad as being on a phone 24/7 and constantly getting dopamine hits from random videos, hearing people's random words from people who I have no idea who they are. We don't know if they're telling the truth. It's a lot. Social media is a lot of information. It's information overload, which can lead a lot of us during this period of time when it's the information age, of course, where you can go on the internet and find the answer to anything in less than 20 seconds. But also, we have to keep in mind that all of these things, although they are valid, the election, the state of the world, the weather, social media, keeping up with our friends, keeping up with our family, everything outside of us, valid, important, but nothing matters more than what's inside of us, our minds, and our personal journey as a result comes to healing. Because a lot of us don't understand psychology. We don't understand how our minds work, which is kind of crazy. We're not taught this. Actually, I was in high school, but I don't remember much of it because I was in high school, I didn't care, like most of us. But we really don't understand how the mind works. And because we don't understand how the mind works, we think that the behaviors that we have, the things that we do, the way that we talk is just how we are. That's just how I am. I just so happen to be this way. When in fact, who you are, how you think, how you perceive yourself, how you perceive other people, is a direct result of every single thing that has happened to you or did not happen to you as a child. Our subconscious mind records the behaviors of not only ourselves, but the behaviors of everybody in our lives. Everything, every situation, every scenario. We may not remember it, but it's definitely playing a role in what you are doing right now in your life. And you want to know how I know this is true and how you can test that this is true? Think about something that you really want to do and you just haven't done it. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter your age. Something you genuinely desire to do, whether it's start a new job or build a house or whatever it is. It can be anything, material, spiritual, whatever it is. You have not done it because something in your mind, you don't even know where this was, you don't even know where this voice came from, you don't know what it is. Something is telling you you can't do it. And because you can't do it, you haven't even figured out how to do it. And I don't even have to know you to know that that's how you're thinking. Because we all, unfortunately, most of us, not all of us, some of us are blessed and highly favored, but most of us have been programmed to think negatively about ourselves, think negatively about wanting more out of life. A lot of us were programmed to think that we have to do this certain things to get this specific outcome. You have to work a job to make money. You have to do this to do that, when that's not necessarily the case, which you learn when you become an adult. But again, everything that has been said to us, everything that was done to us, everything, not even just our parents, generational, because trauma hides in the cells. All of that is playing a role on how you are living your life today. And if you don't actively go and do the work and figure out why you do the things that you do, why you are thinking the way that you are thinking, if you don't go back and attack these patterns that are constantly causing you to not do the things that really God put you on this earth to do or put on your heart to do, and if you don't believe in God, what is on your heart, what is your burning passion and desire to do? If you don't go back and heal, you'll never be able to accomplish what you know you want to do and what you know you were born to do. And that's why this world keeps us so distracted and focused on literally everything else but ourselves. And it takes a special person. It takes a person who's determined to actually look at themselves, because it's not even really, we can blame the world, but honestly, God made us in a way in which we see outwards. We don't see inside. Our eyeballs look out. Our eyeballs do not look in, look within. And the only time you really are able to, look at yourself and reflect over yourself is if you want to have a really good person in your life who will tell you stuff about yourself. And you know that they love you, you know that you can trust them, and you know they wouldn't just be saying stuff about you for nothing. But oftentimes other people bring things to our attention that we may have not known were in us because we don't know. Again, the eyes look out. But another way in which you can find, your flaws, you could understand, what is wrong with you, or why you do the things that you do, is if you actually sit back and reflect over your life and think back to, maybe the source of your behaviors, which is kind of hard, it can be, which is why, in my personal opinion, you have to spend time with your parents, something that I'm learning as I'm 25 now. Or not even just your parents, people that you grew up with, because not all of us were raised by our parents. But you have to go back to those environments, you have to go back to those people, have conversations with them, and lo and behold, before you know it, things will come up. They will say things and they will do things. If you are actively on this self-improvement journey, you have to again want to see your flaws. You have to want to see your trauma. You have to want to see that, because a lot of us, we bury the trauma in the hurt, because who wants to deal with that every day? It's not something that we want to attack or just deal with. It's painful, it hurts, so a lot of us bury it. But you have to, again, you have to want to uncover it, you have to want to exalt it so that you can nip it and then remove it. But spending time with your parents, talking to them, they will say stuff or they will do things that will trigger something in your mind so that you can be like, oh man, I get this thought pattern from my mama, or oh man, I do this, I got this bad habit because I got it from him. This isn't even really my habit. I got it from him because it's a learned behavior, because I spent most of my life with this man, because this is my father. He's He's one of my first two examples of what it's like to be a human being. This person right here. It's not my fault that I adopted this. And once you see that, in that individual, whatever it is, that's when you're able to detach yourself from the bad habit if it's something bad. Because a lot of times we get, unfortunately, some crazy stuff from our parents, but we also get good things. But if it's bad and it's no longer conducive to who you want to be, who you are striving to be, you have to literally do the work to detach yourself from that moment, from that mindset, from that way of thinking, whatever it is, so that you can actively work to be who you're meant to be. So that you can actually read a good book like Message to the Black Man, How to Eat to Live, Think and Grow Rich. You can read information like that, life-changing information like that, and actually do something with it and not be stopped and held back by some trauma that had happened like 15 years ago, or something that somebody said to you when you were 4 years old that you never forgot because you hold it on, you keep repeating the word in your head. And that's why we need to work on ourselves, because you will never be who God put you on this earth to be if you don't go back and heal. If you don't go back and address and attack the things that happened to you, the things that made you you. And it's kind of crazy. Because I don't want to say nobody's doing this, but I feel like the more I'm in this process and the more I'm in this journey, me personally, because I have been doing this, I'd say consistently for the last 5 years, working on myself, because I've been blessed with the opportunity to spend the last 4 years by myself, with God, of course, with Allah. And so because I spent this time with myself, I spent a lot of time in my own head and being able to go back to these moments and be like, oh man, this is how I am, this is who I am. Cry if I need to. Process what had happened to me if I needed to, and then moved on. And the more I did it, the more free I became. And it's just like, the more I do it, the more I've realized that a lot of people are not necessarily doing this. And that could be the missing piece that is stopping them from being who they want to be, or applying the information that they already have to the extent that they will reap the benefits of what it is that they desire. And I'm not saying this just to say all of this. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a psychologist. I'm just someone who pays attention to patterns, who pays attention to their own mind, and who notices things in other people because they pay attention to themselves so much. And we are all out here struggling in one way, shape, or fashion, or form. And we all need to be focusing on ourselves. So again, I want to make this video just to share that, because I will start making more videos like this, because I want us to help each other get over, or really just start to look at self. As hard as that may be for some of us, because we may have never looked at ourselves, because we always looking at other people and judging them. They did this to me, this, whatever. It is when we look at self, it's when we become who we were meant to be. When you look at you and can see that bad thing within you, that flaw that has been not necessarily the best thing, it's been causing you to mess up a lot of relationships, whatever it is. It is when you are able to do that where you can put on and properly apply any body of information and it do for your life as it should, and you are able to execute properly. So yeah, I hope you all have been well. I have been great. Life has been fascinating. But honestly, it's August, summer 2024. My summer has been amazing. It's been beautiful. I've been very productive. I've had a lot of fun with my friends. I did a lot of fun things in June. I think I have a vlog coming soon of my birthday trip. I went to Disney World, which is beautiful, with my mom and my sister. But yeah, man, the journey of accountability, looking at self constantly, looking at your hand in every situation is beautiful. It's hard at first, but it's one of the most beautiful journeys you will ever go on your life. And it is the most rewarding. because you will stop blaming other people. You will stop putting yourself in situations that you know will no longer value you. You will no longer hold on to relationships that are no longer fruitful for you. It's just beautiful. So yeah, let's go on this journey together. I hope you all are well. May God continue to bless you.